Last time we took a wild ride with the highs and lows of Urban Cowboy, but this week things are looking a bit brighter.
Oh, yes, because this week we're unwrapping a holiday classic that takes Christmas chaos to a whole new level.
From over-the-top decorations to unexpected family surprises, this holiday classic captures the mayhem and magic of Christmas like no other.
So get cozy and grab some eggnog. We're lighting up a holiday classic that shows just how wild Christmas can get, Griswolds style.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Missy, and this is Real Sisters Rewind.
Join us as we go back to the 80s. Hey there, and welcome back to Real Sisters Rewind. Back to the 80s. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Missy. Thanks for joining us as we journey through the classics of the 80s that made us laugh, cry, and sometimes cringe.
If you're enjoying our podcast, please follow, subscribe, download, and leave a 5-star review. It makes a huge difference in helping new people find us and join in on all the fun.
Yes, and as a thank you, we're sending out Real Sisters Rewind stickers for every 5-star review.
Just take a screenshot of your review and send it to hello@realsistersrewind.com, and we will send you out our sticker. And real fans, I have to tell you, the stickers are super cute. I actually stuck mine on the back of my phone and on my phone case, and it fits perfectly, and it's really cute. So
cute. I want to do that.
Get one like for your water bottle or something. It's
fun. All right. Well, today we're diving into a holiday favorite from the 80s that brings plenty of laughs for us, brings a whole lot of personal holiday memories for us as well, doesn't it, sister?
Yes, it does.
This movie has become a cherished tradition in our family, and we've made it a tradition to watch Christmas Vacation together every Thanksgiving night at Mom's house. And our family, usually, we even watch it a few more additional nights during the season.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't? We're thrilled to have some very special guests joining us and making this a fun old-fashioned family episode. Today, we have a very special group of guys from our family who make this tradition all the more fun. I feel like I'm about to cry because y'all are all here with us. We've got all my nephews, Missy's sons, Michael and Morgan, are here with us, along with their cousins, Gavin, Parker, and Thomas. Hey, guys, welcome.
Hey, guys.
Thank y'all
happy
for
to be
being here.
here.
Thank you.
Oh, we're so glad you're all here. I'm not sure that they exactly were enthused about the idea at first, sister.
But they're going to be enthused after they have this memory locked in.
That's exactly right.
All right, everyone, let's do it. Let's rewind and go back to 1989.
All right. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation hit theaters on the first day of the last month of the 80s. It came out.
Sister, wait, I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt you. I didn't even think about that because of the time period. I mean, I know it's 89. We barely got this one in the 80s decade to be able to do it.
I know. I'm thankful for that because it is such a special movie to us. It actually came out on December 1st, 1989, just as the holiday season was getting into full swing, because back then they didn't celebrate Christmas starting at Halloween. But I was 21, and I know for a fact, sister, that I didn't see it in theaters. Boys, I know you guys didn't see it in theaters since you weren't even thought of at that time. But Amanda, did you see it in theaters?
I did not. I definitely did not see it in theaters.
Okay. Okay.
Do any of you boys remember the first time you saw it at all? Maybe not even maybe it wasn't actually the first time you saw it, but the first time you remember it, like you have a memory of it.
No, I definitely don't. That was way too long ago, but I could only assume it was in Hattiesburg, Mississippi when I first saw it.
I
You
remember
know
the
what? Y'all know what? Look, Michael, let me stop you real quick because I do want to
Mhm.
give y'all just a really quick chance just to say your name so we can put it, listeners can put a name to a voice because that was Parker. And y'all, if you can just say your name and where you're at right now, like where you're coming to us from. All right.
Let's go oldest to youngest. So
The
Michael, kick us
perfect.
off.
All right, go.
I'm Michael and I'm from Huntsville.
Thomas.
I'm Thomas and I'm from Ruston, Louisiana.
Come on,
I'm
Gavin, you're
Gavin.
next.
I'm Gavin, coming to you from Knoxville.
I'm Parker, and here at 101 Henry Avenue, Knoxville, Tennessee.
So you can go find him.
We can
Real
we can
fans.
we can send him fan mail to that address. I love it. And
And
the baby.
I'm Morgan, and I'm in Jackson, Mississippi.
Awesome.
Very
Thanks,
good.
y'all.
Very
All right, so
good.
Parker said he thinks his first memory would be in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Michael, what about you? You were about to say something and I interrupted you.
I think the first time I remember seeing it, I I remember the funny. Y'all wouldn't let me watch it, Mom.
I
I was
know.
I was but I remember like I was kept having to leave the room for so I was very young. I could have been like 4 or 5, but I remember that it was the pool scene is the one I remember.
I know. I always made you leave or close your eyes, etc., during the pool scene, which I actually was thinking about sharing when we got to that part of the actual rewind.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I remember that. I could have been
Yeah,
three or
you would
four.
always close our eyes during the pool scene and cover our ears when he freaks out at the very end of the movie. Because that's what I was going to say. I remembered about my first time watching it was just that I was so young that I wasn't able to see two of the best parts of the movie. Because the freak out scene at the very end where he's going crazy is incredible. And I don't think till I was 14 or 15 years old, I got to really watch it all the way through.
That's
To
So
my
funny.
knowledge, that's
parents
the
beware. Parents beware if you're showing this with young kids around.
I'll say
I
this,
was
to my knowledge, from some stuff I looked up, that's the first time in any movie anybody's ever strung together like insults and curse words like that. That's the first time.
Oh,
That's,
interesting.
Interesting.
yeah, it's kind of it inspired a lot of like comedy later in like the early 2000s.
I
Okay.
definitely don't remember like the first time I saw it, y'all, but I feel like it's something that was just like always on at Christmas. Like I don't know that it just was always there.
Yeah, kind of like that Christmas story that plays
Hmm.
all along. What about Gavin and Thomas? Do either one of you guys have a memory of seeing it your first time or a memory from seeing it the first time?
Yeah, I was just about to say I don't think I remember the first time I saw it, but I do remember one of the first times I saw it, Missy not being sure if I was old enough to see it.
It's Missy.
Well,
So
Amanda,
it must have not been too long before that, and I do recall some times when I had to cover my eyes and or my ears or
yeah, or
depending
both,
on which
right?
part of the movie it was.
I'm worried about my parenting skills because I always let my girls and the boys and everybody watch it from the get-go, and I did not think about like censoring any of it.
Oh my gosh, I did. I did. All right, what about you, Thomas? I guess you're going to say I stifled your enjoyment of it as well.
That's exactly what I'm gonna say. Um, no, I think I have the same memory as Michael, where I remember it was West Monroe, and it was I guess now I know that there was two versions of the VHS or something maybe. But
Yes.
we watched a certain version of it, and there was that one part where we had to leave the room. I didn't really know why, and uh, yeah, now I know. So
Now you know because you're
now I
plenty
know.
old enough to know now.
Hysterical. Okay, well, before we get into the movie, boys, we always talk about what was going in the world during this time when the movie was released to kind of set the stage for our real fans. Um, and so for some context, like we said, it was 1989. It was a big year, I guess, just like every year in the 80s, it seems. I feel like every year, Missy, we're like, it was a big
It
year.
was a big
Um,
year.
and this really is big. Y'all get excited because I have been talking about this on our podcast. We're now on our 11th episode. Every episode, I feel like this comes up almost every episode.
Yep.
Just a few weeks before Christmas Vacation came out, the Berlin Wall finally fell before that 80s decade was over. It was almost just like it was planned perfectly. The Berlin Wall came down, and that marked the end of the Cold War. And it actually came down in November, on November 9th. And this was a really big change for the world. And I don't know how much I learned about the Berlin Wall falling, but it was a really big deal. Families were reunited that had been separated. And it was
big
major.
news. It really was. Well, right around this time that the comedy was being released, there was a dark story that was brewing in the headlines. Police were working on a notorious crime that had been committed earlier that year in California. And actually, it's still one we're talking about today. So let's see if you guys can figure it out, because I know you know, and Amanda and I love some true crime drama. So here are the clues about what was happening in 89. There were a couple of brothers that were going to spend their first holiday without their parents. And it was their last holiday behind bars, and they're trying right now to be set free. There are a lot of documentaries out there right now about them. Any guesses, guys?
Sister, their last holiday, not behind bars.
No,
Okay, thank you.
I have no idea.
Really? I'm
have no idea.
shocked.
Okay,
Really?
good.
Menendez
Now I don't feel as dumb.
Yes.
Yes, the Menendez brothers. So they were this wealthy family out in California, and they murdered their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. And they were just before being arrested for the crime. So it was major news. And the thing about it is it's still news today.
Yeah.
That's because their parents let them watch the uncensored version of Christmas Vacation too early.
Could be.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all should check out the documentary, boys. It's a very interesting story.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, since it's the holiday season, let's talk about what the kiddos were asking for from Santa. Top of the list for boys at this time, they were asking for anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and little girls were all about the Polly Pockets. And Missy, that's funny because in our podcast, our Halloween episode, remember we were just talking about the popularity of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Yes.
How big it was.
But I feel like even when you guys were young, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were still a thing. Yes?
I have a story about that. That is well, I was quick. I watched that at Thomas's house for the first time back when I was a kid. And I remember very vividly there's like little kids smoking cigars in that movie.
That's really true.
Also, I know that they filmed that movie in Cleveland, Ohio.
Interesting.
It's supposed to look like New York, but it's like a 4 blocks of Cleveland.
Oh, that's funny. Well, it was a it was a huge movie. We talked about that. But anyway, that's probably why they were so popular this Christmas season. And as far as technology gifts go, because technology was starting to really make a way, young and old alike were hoping for Game Boy and Nintendo consoles. And I was definitely one of those people that was wanting the Nintendo. And I probably wanted a Game Boy. I think I already had a Nintendo.
So let me ask you guys this. Give us some intel on this Christmas. Are there any technology type gifts that you know that are like must-haves for people? No? Morgan, you're kind of making a face. Wasn't there one last year, though, Morgan, that you wanted? Like a Nintendo Duo or Pair, or what was it called? You had it on your wedding list.
I got a Nintendo Switch from Catherine for my birthday.
Oh, yeah. See? I knew it was something.
Which I guess is the new version of what everybody was wanting in 89.
Yeah, I guess so.
Exactly. The good old duck hunt.
There was a new show that was about to launch on TV that would start a brand new trend in television on December 17th. America Meets the Simpsons. Episode 1 was actually a Christmas episode, and it was Simpsons roasting on an open fire, where Homer was forced to become a department store Santa because Marge had spent the family's Christmas savings having Bart's tattoo removed. Now, I would love to know if you guys are Simpsons fans or any of that like genre, but I'll just say this. 772 episodes later of The Simpsons, I've still never watched it.
Have y'all? Or
No,
y'all?
I've never really, I don't think I've ever seen an episode of the actual TV show.
Family Guy's
I
better.
remember we had a DVD copy of the movie. And
Yeah,
I'd
we
watched
did.
the movie a little bit. The only thing I know about The Simpsons is they have an uncanny way of predicting the future. Like there's all this stuff that's happened in The Simpsons throughout the years. Like I think they showed Donald Trump as president in like the early 2000s,
Yep.
and all this
Really?
stuff that they've just thrown in has come.
Wow,
Yeah,
I had not heard that.
you can go down like a whole rabbit hole of things. That's true, Morgan. I totally forgot about that. And there are multiple things that are kind of like that have come true from The Simpsons. Well, anybody else? We definitely watched The Simpsons. And when we were at lunch, during lunch, when I was in elementary school, we would always like say lines from The Simpsons. And Bart was on this Butterfinger commercial that he used to do during that time. And he would always say his phrase, he would always say was contraire, mon frere. And so like we would always say that. And we thought it was so funny, especially if we had a Butterfinger. We would be like, contraire, mon frere. Can't have my Butterfinger or whatever.
That is too funny.
So
That is too
stupid.
funny.
No, I've always loved The Simpsons. It's a great show, but in the movie, it's by far the best out of all of The Simpsons. Out of the 700, what'd you say, 772 episodes,
Yes.
the movie takes it all, no doubt. And I
Wait,
think our little brother Clyde has seen The Simpsons all episodes like 5 times.
Really? Clyde's a
Yeah.
huge Simpson fan, huh?
Oh yeah, he's watched it on repeat for
Wait.
a while.
Parker, is it still out? Like, do they still have new episodes?
I'm pretty sure.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
think so.
Okay, we got to check that out. That's interesting.
They have
Because
a
if it
whole theme park.
does, what, Michael?
They have a whole theme park section at Universal.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to check that out. Well, People magazine featured someone we've loved watching over the years, but especially in the 80s. Oh man, this guy was the heartthrob, Michael J. Fox. And they were highlighting his wonderful life, like the movie It's a Wonderful Life. So cute for the holidays.
That is cute. And the number one song on the radio was Blame It on the Rain by Milli Vanilli. Do you boys know about the Milli Vanilli scandal? No, I see heads
It was like a
shaking.
lip sync.
Yes, yes. It actually came out that next year. So their song was number one in the weekend of 1989, but it came out the next year that they had never sung a single note on their albums or any performance. They were basically lip syncing artists, and they even won a Grammy that was later taken away.
They straight up took it away.
Yeah.
And first of all, they were really cute, by the way, like super good looking, like really like models. And I 100% had their tape, loved it so much. And y'all, we played this tape, not CD, at this is what we called them, our boy girl parties, not parties. Like, oh, are you having a party? Is it going to be a boy girl? Yeah. And we would play the Milli Vanilli songs and do the like shoulder dances to Milli
It was a
Vanilli.
really great song. It really was.
The whole album was great.
Well, I didn't
Sure.
listen to the whole album.
Well, back to the movie itself. Christmas Vacation is rated PG-13 and runs about 97 minutes. 97 minutes of pure bliss for the viewer, I might add. It was made, this is kind of crazy. It was made on a $25 million budget, which was really big for a movie at that time. especially because it didn't have any real special effects, which we learned all about during our Halloween episode, Real Fans, and only brought in about 75 million at the box office. So like for what they spent to make it, it wasn't this huge success at the time. And it didn't really rack up awards or receive praise from critics, but it quickly became a holiday staple that people wanted to rewatch every year. Can y'all imagine the residuals off of this? Like it definitely with the 75 million to the 25 million that it cost to make isn't great, but oh my gosh, the money
over the years. Yes.
they're making on this movie is incredible.
Well, as we know, Chevy Chase was Clark Griswold, and he really made the movie. Now, he was already a big deal at the time. He was on Saturday Night Live and had some really good movies out like Fletch, and he just nails Clark's over the top enthusiasm.
Then we have Beverly D'Angelo as Ellen Griswold, and she's perfect as Clark's calm and supportive counterpart. And their kids, Juliette Lewis as Audrey and Johnny Galecki as Rusty, who both went on to have pretty big careers of their own.
Yeah, I love Johnny Galecki in The Big Bang Theory.
Wait, hold up. He was in The Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, he was Leonard, the roommate.
Oh, wow.
You can't talk about this movie without talking about Randy Quaid as Uncle Eddie. Clark Griswold is the main character, but Uncle Eddie is the star of this movie.
Yes.
To me, his best moment is when Clark is taking him to the grocery store and buying him groceries because they are less fortunate than the Griswolds. And Uncle Eddie is just throwing like 20-pound bags of dog food on the cart. Clark throws down a thing of light bulbs, and Uncle Eddie throws a 50-pound bag of dog food right on top. And then Clark convinces him to let him buy his kids some Christmas presents. And Uncle Eddie's like, no, you can't do that. And then immediately pulls out a full page of Christmas gifts for the kids. And then tops it off by looking at Clark and saying, hey, if there's anything left over after all that, you get yourself something real nice, Clark. And I rewatched it today, and that moment stuck out. It always does. He is the best character in the movie.
You are so right.
Oh, I 100% agree with you, Morgan. He's my favorite character in the whole movie. He just plays the part perfectly. I mean, every one-liner that he spits out, you can't beat it. It cracks me up every time.
Yeah, like Morgan and Parker said, it's kind of just hard to overstate the importance of Uncle Eddie in the movie. And the scene I think of is like the one with him and Clark in the living room. I think it's the first night that he's there, and he's kind of talking about his children. And he's talking about his children, and he says, older boy, bless his soul, he's preparing for his career. And Clark says college, and then he says, no, carnival. That he's hoping next year he can be guessing people's weight or barking for the yak woman. So I think that's definitely my favorite quote.
The other thing I love,
one.
Yeah, it is. The other thing I love about Eddie, not only are all of his things he says in dialogue, but the outfits. Perfection.
Oh my gosh, yes. And we'll definitely talk about that as we go through the movie.
All right. Well, Cousin Eddie is definitely the cousin's favorite. And here's a fascinating fact for y'all. And I don't know if y'all will be as fascinated by this, you young men, but the movie Christmas Vacation was written by John Hughes, who also wrote The Breakfast Club, which I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but John Hughes wrote a lot of those like teenage movies from the 80s. And it's actually based on a short story that he wrote for National Lampoon magazine. And Hughes just had this really incredible gift for telling stories that make family chaos relatable and hilarious, which is exactly what we get to see in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize until researching the film that this was a John Hughes film, but he does such a great job. He always placed families in Chicago, but a fascinating fact is that many of the scenes for Christmas Vacation weren't filmed in Chicago. They were actually filmed in Breckenridge.
Oh, cool. Well, that makes sense with all the snow. There are so many fascinating facts for this holiday special. So let's go ahead and get into the movie. We can talk about all of that as we go through it.
Yes. And we've got a little something fun we're going to do with you men as we go through the movie. We're going to get a little friendly competition going. We're going to ask you trivia questions as we go through the movie. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw out of my Marty Moose cup, and I'll draw a name, and when all the names are out, we'll put them back in for the next round, and we are going to keep score because the one who gets the most right gets a prize.
Yep, perfect. Maybe Uncle Eddie's movie, the sequel to the sequel, called Christmas Vacation 2, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
That sounds like the perfect prize.
That movie's bad. That movie is bad. I've seen it before.
So y'all don't want that as your prize, huh?
No. I was going to mention that later. That movie's bad.
Thank you. I'm glad to know you saved me a little bit of time in my life.
We
All
need
right.
the little moose mugs from the
Yes.
scene where they're drinking eggnog.
Exactly. That's what Missy's is going to be like, to draw the name. So let's unwrap a movie that we all love to laugh to. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We open with Clark, Ellen, and the kids driving into the snowy countryside in search of the perfect Christmas tree. Clark's leading the family choir in some Christmas carols. I'm going to pause. Yep, I'm pausing because I was about to say something, but I'm going to pause so I can ask. This is the first trivia question, Missy.
I drew Parker's name, Parker, and I'm going to go ahead and draw the next one. Michael's up next. Okay.
Okay. Name one song. Name one song that was sung in the car during this scene.
Deck the halls.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes.
Deck the hall. Yeah.
All right, Parker gets a point. Let me give you a point, Parker. But what I was going to say, all right, Parker, you got a point. One of the songs that they're singing is "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," and they do sing "Deck the Hall," "Wish You a Merry Christmas." But this is one of my favorite. I mean, I'm going to say this so many times. I love the scene so much because I love how Beverly D'Angelo, when she's singing "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," it's like she's singing in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. She's like, "Oh God," and she's like so into it and so serious. It's like she's so holy, and it just makes me laugh so hard every time. But they're singing along. Rusty's in the back trying to sleep, and Audrey looks like she's about to throw up. And I have to tell y'all, her RBF, her resting bitch face in this movie is perfection. Like, her as Juliette Lewis playing Audrey there's just not a better Audrey, especially for this particular story. I love it.
Yeah. Well, as they are riding along, Clark, being Clark, gets into a standoff with a pickup truck with a couple of roughnecks, which ends up actually getting them stuck up under an 18-wheeler. Ellen's in the back. She's praying, "Lord, deliver us from trucks." Amen. Right? But here's your trivia question, Michael. What color was the truck that the guys were driving in that opening scene?
What color was the truck? Wasn't it like teal?
Yes, it was green. That's right.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. All right. Any one of you, for 5 points, which type of truck was it? Like, what was the brand of truck?
Ford.
Anything.
Chevrolet.
No.
Dodge, wasn't it?
It was a Dodge, Gavin. Ding, ding, ding.
Cool.
5 points for Gavin.
Gavin got it.
Yeah, I actually have a fascinating fact about the truck. If you ever saw the movie Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, he was a carpenter, and that was actually the truck that he drove in 1987. So just before this movie was filmed, they used it for that.
Well, we will be doing Overboard in our 80s Rewind because I love that movie. Well, somehow, despite all the antics with the trucks and shenanigans, they make it to the middle of nowhere where Audrey's practically frozen solid.
And the thing about it is they're like, they pull up to a tree farm, but then they like go out into the middle of the woods, right? And it's like they're on this journey to find the tree. They walk, and then suddenly it's like it's one of those kind of moments, right? They find the tree. But guys, did he bring a saw? Did Clark bring a saw?
No,
No, he did not.
Of course not.
Nope. But they still get that tree. He's determined, and they get that tree to the car, roots and all.
I hope they
And
at least had a shovel.
Yeah, I hate that we don't get to see how they got the tree out of the ground to the car because it just skips over right away to them driving down the road, which is
Sure.
And Amanda, you had mentioned Audrey's facial expressions. Clark's facial expression when he realizes they do not have a saw is just the facial expressions throughout this movie are just incredible.
I agree.
They're on point. They're on point. That's one of my favorite parts about the movie. It's just the facial expressions from Clark Griswold.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny y'all said that because that is literally what I was about to say, is that as I'm talking about like the tree being on top of the car with the roots and everything, and that they didn't bring a saw, like if you were telling this to somebody who's never seen Christmas Vacation, it really wouldn't sound that funny. Like it would sound stupid. But as y'all just said, somehow these actors pull every flippin' joke off. Like every facial expression, every way they deliver the lines, make it funny. Like all of this comedy, they just pull it off. And it's because it's like what y'all are saying is facial expressions and the way they deliver the lines too. But whenever they do get back home, we meet Todd and Margot, the Griswolds' yuppie neighbors. Margot, by the way, Elaine from Seinfeld, which we get to know better in the 90s. They will show up throughout the movie, always aggravated at Clark and his antics. In this scene, Clark comes out of his garage sporting a plastic ski mask.
Like Jason. It was like Jason's from Friday the 13th.
Exactly, which is like terrifying, with a chainsaw. And when Todd asks, where's he going to put a tree that big, he fires back. Trivia question. Who's up, sister?
Thomas.
What does Clark say to
when he asks where he's going to put it?
To Todd?
Yeah. What does he say?
Like something that refers to his behind or something? Or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, that's it. I'm giving you the point. He says, bend over and I'll show you. Yep. Everybody's got a point so far.
But he wasn't talking to Todd.
No, he was not.
Oh, yeah.
But he wasn't talking to Todd. That's right. But but that is the reference that he makes. Good job.
Michael, did you have something you were going to say to that?
I was going to say, he didn't say anything to Todd.
Well, as soon as he gets the tree in the house, this huge, gigantic tree, he cuts the ropes and the tree branches seem to basically like explode everywhere, practically taking out the whole room. But it's all part of his big family Christmas vision.
Yeah, which is all about to get tested because both sets of parents are arriving for the holidays. Ellen's worried, but Clark has this idea that Christmas is about resolving differences. Now, this conversation is happening just before Clark and Ellen go to sleep. Now, here's another trivia question for you. It must be Morgan. What kind of magazine was Clark reading?
It's a tough one, Mo.
Morgan gets a hard one.
That is a ridiculous question with what we've just got asked. I could have quoted the whole scene you asked Thomas. I mean, this is just a straight. His hand, the tree sap sticking to everything. People magazine.
Yes.
Ding, 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 ding.
Gavin will be up next. But I have to ask you guys here. I want to just kind of stop because, Ellen's worried about everybody coming in for the holidays. And Clark's like, it's going to be great. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Lottie and Papa. Like, imagine the stress, like before everyone's coming in, like she's like, we've got to inflate all the mattresses and everything's just got to be perfect. And there's a little stress. And Papa's just like, oh, it's all going to be good and fine. Do y'all sometimes feel like our Thanksgivings are a little crazy when we get together for the holidays?
They definitely are, but I think we are all a lot easier to live with and be with for a week than just about anybody in this movie.
Yeah, you're right. And Ellen actually warns him, right? Because he's so calm, cool, and collected. She's like, it's not going to be this perfection that you think it's going to be. She tells him, you always set the bar too high. But he's convinced that this is the year he's going to make it all happen.
And Missy,
Well,
she even rattles off the list of all the times, like when he is over, anticipated how perfect things are going to be, and then he's very disappointed.
Yes, you're right.
Makes me laugh.
Somebody was going to say something.
Oh,
well, I
yeah.
was just gonna say, I think that's the difference between our family and the movie is Lottie always does a great job of making everything perfect. There's no question there. It always turns out perfect instead of this debacle that.
You're right. That is a big difference, Parker.
Yeah. Well, when we jump to Clark's work, where he is where his coworker Bill congratulates him on being in the running for, this is hysterical, food additive designer of the year, which is so funny. Like thinking about now, people are like, ooh, food additives, but he's food additive designer of the year. And he asks Clark what he's going to do with his big Christmas bonus. And this is when we find out that Clark is putting in a pool.
So about this time, y'all, Mr. Shirley, who's played by Brian Dole Murray, who, by the way, is Bill Murray's brother, he can't even remember Clark's name. He calls him random names and even some not nice ones. He's grouchy and he's very unconnected to the team, but he becomes a big part of the storyline later.
Okay. And then comes one of the funniest scenes of the movie. I said I was going to say that a lot, and I do feel it again with this one. The department store scene where Clark is chatting up the beautiful saleswoman while trying to buy lingerie. And this entire scene is full of hysterical and completely inappropriate puns. He absolutely cannot get his words out to the sales lady. He is just like falling all over himself. And when she pulls up her skirt to show the panty she is selling, I'm rolling because again, this is a moment where this is so ridiculous and silly, but it feels so real and hysterical.
All right, Mo, what are you going to say about that?
To me, the best part of that scene is that Rusty is in the mall. Rusty was cutting school and at the mall. And, usually you see your dad in that situation, you're the one that's getting caught. You're the one that's in trouble. But in this situation, he catches his dad and he's completely scot-free from whatever he's.
Absolutely.
Well, then we see the little advent calendar that comes up with the little Christmas chime music, and they're letting us know that it's December 14th, right? And so, do any of my boys, do you guys remember our advent calendar that we used growing up? Michael, do you remember the advent calendar?
Like the one with the little reindeer on the
Yeah.
door?
Yeah, the one with the reindeer. Yeah. Mo, do you remember it?
An advent calendar?
Oh, I do remember that. I still have it with me. It's in our box of Christmas decorations, and it was hanging in our apartment for Christmas season last year.
Love it.
That is one of my favorite Christmas decorations we've ever had.
You got
Oh,
the calendar? Why does he get the calendar?
I don't know. We'll settle that another time.
That's so sweet. We have a little Santa one that we use.
I think we
Yeah.
should settle it now. Who
Do
gets the
you?
calendar?
Well, if
No.
only we had time. If only we had time.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe when we're all together. All right. So back at home, the family arrives, both sets of grandparents, and the doors open and you can feel the stress rising. And they're saying these hilarious comments to each other. One of them's talking about, oh, check out this mole. And I mean, it's just
I've got hemorrhoids. That's what one of the
Yes.
grandmother says. I've got hemorrhoids.
It's hysterical. But Clark takes Rusty out to begin checking every bulb on the strand of the knotted ball of Christmas lights. Trivia question. Who's up, Missy?
Thomas.
All right, Thomas. Clark mentions that he is going to be putting up how many lights in his display of lights this year?
You can phone a friend, Thomas. Is there a friend on Zoom?
Is it like over 20,000?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Good.
Ding,
I'm
ding.
Okay.
giving
We'll
you
give it
points.
25,000, Thomas. Very good.
Okay.
25,000 Christmas lights. Good.
Woohoo.
And
Awesome.
look, because of that, Russ tells him, like, Dad, I think you're overdoing it. But of course, y'all know Clark. He insists that it's going to be fine. And while they're outside doing that, inside, Ellen and Audrey are both completely stressed out, right? Like Ellen's so stressed, she's taken up smoking again. And Audrey's freaking out about having to share a room with her brother. And her boyfriend called, and the grandparents told the boyfriend something terribly embarrassing. And so Morgan, what is the trivia? What did the grandparents tell Audrey's boyfriend that she was doing?
She was in the bathroom.
That would be horrifying at that age for someone to tell your boyfriend or girlfriend that. And a bonus trivia question for Gavin. Do you know what heavy metal group is on the wall of Audrey's room? You could probably take a
That's
guess
another tough
from the
one.
80s. It is a tough one.
AC/DC? I don't know.
Oh, great guess. Michael, do you think you know?
Is it Kiss?
No, good guess.
No.
And one
Both
more.
really good
It was
guesses.
Metallica.
No, but another great guess. It was Guns N' Roses.
I was about to say
Was
yeah.
it?
Yeah,
I feel like I
Guns N'
would have
Roses.
noticed that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
It's
we
Guns
need
N'
a fact
Roses.
check.
Go check it. Go
Yeah,
fact
go
check
check it
this
and
part.
see. So one thing I want to say about this, Missy, when you're talking about Audrey and her being embarrassed of the grandparents, another great moment for Juliette Lewis and her resting bitch face, because that's like the perfect teenager moment of that. But also the whole thing with the grandparents in her room, the way it's decorated, and that whole storyline with the grandparents situation. That is so John Hughes. Very, very 16
Yes.
Candles.
Yeah.
Very similar. Now that you've said it, I'm seeing the connections.
Yeah,
for
me
sure.
too. That was a great point.
Mm-hmm. Well, while Clark and Russ are decorating the house for Christmas, Clark gives Todd and Marco a little Christmas surprise. While he's stapling on the lights, he accidentally sends a chunk of ice shooting from his gutter through the window, which ruins their carpet, windows, and stereo. And back then, stereos were ginormous, so it was a big piece of equipment.
Yes. And so finally, Clark is ready. He is ready. He calls out the whole family for the big light show reveal. He has them give him a drum roll. And it's so funny. He asks for the drum roll and then nothing. And like he looks at him like, I'm serious, drum roll. But he plugs it in and wah, wah, wah. The house is dark. Clark is devastated, but he is not giving up.
Well, the next morning, Clark goes into the attic to hide some gifts. Another scene that I love. When he does this, he finds a gift that is covered in dust left from years before. Trivia question for who? Michael. The gift that he finds, for what occasion was the gift?
Say that question one more time. I don't.
Okay. When he finds the gift in the attic, the one that's covered with dust, what occasion was the gift for? Like, what was the gift for?
It was in pink wrapping paper with like a green string. Mother's Day.
Yes. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. It was Mother's Day. It was actually 1983 was written on the package, y'all. And it was a nod to the original Vacation, which came out that year.
Oh, I love that.
That's really interesting.
I love that. Well, Clark accidentally gets locked in the attic while the rest of the family goes to the mall. He finds it's cold up there, right? It's snowing, it's winter. So he's like, oh, what am I going to do up here? And he goes in his trunk and he starts pulling out stuff. He gets this old fur coat and some gloves, and they're these like long teal, like old lady gloves. And he finds some reels of family Christmas movies from the 50s.
And he watches those movies. He's all bundled up in this crazy random clothes that he has found, and he gets emotional reliving those Christmas memories.
And y'all, that's when they play. It's that sweet song they play while he's
Christmas is the time of year.
Oh, it's such a sweet little song, and it always gets me like all emotional. It's like to care about the ones you love or something. I don't know, but it's like so sweet. I love it.
And so he's watching this until someone opens the door to the attic and he falls through. Now, I want to pause for a second here because I think this scene is so iconic. I didn't know if any of the guys might have something they want to share here.
Yeah, the tension break from that is hilarious. He's watching that, then the mother-in-law comes like pulls him the attic open and he falls down. Because that's right at the end of the movie. So or right at the end of this little home video.
Yes. And so then it's like the sadness goes away.
Yes.
And I love right when he gets up there and it's freezing cold and he's standing in between the wood beams in the attic. He falls through, I think, into Rusty's bedroom. And he reaches down and holds his hands over the hole into the house like it's a campfire, warming his hands up because he's so freezing up there.
That's the part. Yeah, that's the part I was thinking of. I was like, I love how he conveniently just falls onto the top bunk like it's only,
Yeah, and why wouldn't he just scoot down and get out from there? He just
right
in the attic. Thomas, what did you want to add?
I just want to say, like, for a movie that's nonstop comedy, they really found like a good, heartwarming, humane scene to kind of, give you a breather or whatever.
Yeah.
With him up in the attic, and it felt like really kind of realistic, whatever. But then they were able to transition right back to the comedy and stuff.
That's such a good point. It does, like, I do think there are those moments, Thomas, in this movie that also make it even more endearing to us, with it being those like little emotional moments for Christmas. Like it gives us that little tingle Christmas feeling that we need. So that's a really good point. I love that. Well, Clark's determined to make the lights work. Finally, after working on them all day and some flipping of switches in the basement, they light up to the Hallelujah chorus, and the whole house shines so bright it blinds Todd and Margot, and they are aggravated again. I think they like spill their dinner and the wine on the white carpet. They were
having that romantic dinner. Yes. Yeah. Well, the family's all out on the lawn. They're admiring the display, and Clark is walking down the line, hugging and saying something sweet to each one. And so we've got a trivial question. I'm pulling it. It is Gavin again because they all just went back in. Gavin, I think this is an easier one. As he was walking down the line, who says the little lights aren't twinkling, Clark?
That's his father-in-law, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ellen's dad, Art. But anyway, all of a sudden, as he's walking down that line, he's telling all these sweet things to the family members. He realizes he's talking to Cousin Eddie, who you guys have already really talked about. And he is rolled up in his beat-up RV.
And although they casually go into the house and have some eggnog, here's a trivial question, boys. Who's up, Missy?
Morgan.
Clark and Cousin Eddie were drinking their Christmas cheer out of souvenir glasses in the shape of what amusement park mascot?
I don't know the name of the actual mascot.
Well, what's the
you're right. Marty Moose. Marty Moose. Yes.
Marty Moose.
Which that would have been the mascot for the amusement park they went to in the original Vacation, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly.
It's like they were souvenir cups, is what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And from this moment on, Cousin Eddie's visit takes the chaos in the movie to a whole new level.
One of my favorite lines of the movie is in the scene. It's when Clark asks Eddie about the RV, and we're going to have this be a trivial question, and we've got it for Michael. I just drew your name. Eddie says, when Clark asks about the RV, don't get too used to it because we're taking it with us when we leave here. When, Michael Washam?
Next month.
Next month. Which, by the way,
that's a tough one.
It is. It takes us back to the old Advent calendar, which now shows that it's December 18th. But I just have to say, isn't that way too long for a holiday guest? I mean, the first guest arrived on the 14th. That's 10 days before Christmas. And now you've got Cousin Eddie and the kids, and it's December 18th. That's just way too long.
way too long if they're staying from the 18th the whole another month.
Oh,
Too long.
Oh yeah,
Depends on who it is.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Parker. All right. So meanwhile, back at work, Clark delivers Mr. Shirley's Christmas gift. Now, here's the funny thing. All of those gifts, if you notice, the gifts on the table are all shaped exactly the same. So when fans of this film, they all overwhelmingly think that inside all the gifts, if you have to guess what it is, they all think that it is a desk organizers for pens and a post-it note page.
You know what? That's not something I noticed the first time I watched it, but it is all the gifts are exactly the same, just wrapped differently. And last time I watched it, I was like, I wonder what they are. And that's exactly what I guessed.
Oh, that's funny. I've never noticed, but I will be watching this. That I will be watching for it next time.
Okay.
But it's while Clark is in his office, he's looking at the pool brochure, and we get the sense that he's starting to really feel worried about his bonus that has not arrived yet.
And then we come to what is my least favorite part of the movie. And probably it's because it's the closest thing to an action scene the movie has. But anyway, it's when Clark and Eddie take the family sledding. And, Clark coats his sled with this silicone paste kitchen lubricant. It's supposed to be like 500 times more slippery than cooking oil. And after lifting his hood and saying cowabunga, dude, which I think
shout out to the Ninja Turtles.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's like a shout out to the Ninja Turtles. He takes off like a rocket, landing miles away in a parking lot. And I don't love it. But trivia for Thomas, why can't poor Eddie join in the sledding fun?
He has he got something installed in him medically, and some kind of thing in his brain or something.
Yes,
or his head.
Plastic plate in his head.
Yeah.
A piece of government plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a piece of government plastic. Not just any plastic, government plastic. So you know that.
Y'all know this so well. I love it.
Because he used to have a metal one, but every time the microwave went off, he'd pee himself and forget who he was for 20 minutes.
That happens to Gavin without a metal plate in his head.
Oh my gosh, y'all.
Parker!
Be sweet. Be sweet.
All right, now it's December 21st.
And in my opinion, it's still too early to have holiday guests if they're staying through Christmas Day. I'm just going to say it again.
Yeah, it's a lot. Well, Clark is still stressing about his bonus check, rightfully so, that he has not gotten. And it seems as if that night he can't sleep. He's just so worried. So we see him staring out the window, imagining what it'll be like when the pool is complete. And this is the scene,
yes,
boys,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
that Aunt Missy takes, we talked about, this is what takes us from being a PG rated movie to a PG-13 rated movie. As the girl from the department store shows up on the diving board in her red swimsuit and decides to go skinny dipping.
And that is when I made the boys cover their eyes, or we fast forwarded through the movie.
Hysterical. But Clark always has these scenes in the vacation movies, like where there's like the beautiful woman in the car beside him or whatever. And what I love about it is, like, even though he has these scenes with these beautiful dream like women models, the wife could, even though she's not in the moment of the scene, you just know she could care less. Like, she just doesn't, she is just not bothered by it at all.
I love that.
Well, it's just about this time in Clark's daydream that he is brought back to reality, because here comes little Ruby Sue to interrupt his dream, worried that Santa ain't coming. Clark feels so bad for her.
That's Ruby Sue's grammar, not my sister's.
Clark feels so sad for her and realizes that Eddie's family could use a little help.
Yeah. And the next morning, as the family's having their breakfast, Eddie is outside in his bathrobe having coffee. He's emptying the RV's septic tank into the storm sewer. And this is important later. But after that, Eddie and Clark head to Walmart. And Clark shares, and this is exactly what Morgan told us about at the very beginning. He shares with Eddie, hey, we want to help you. And took Eddie about 2 seconds of saying that he shouldn't until he hands Clark the Christmas list and says, I want to get you something real nice.
And it's finally Christmas Eve. Uncle Louie and Aunt Bethany arrive. It's not Lou. I just said Uncle Louie. It's Lewis, isn't it? Yeah, Uncle
Uncle
Louie. I don't know why I
Lewis.
said Louie. Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany arrive for Christmas Eve dinner. Oh man. And y'all, like everybody in this is so dang funny. Like the grandparents arrive and they're so funny. And now the cousins come and they're so funny. I mean, not cousins, the aunts and uncles come and they're so funny. And it's obvious that Aunt Bethany is a little bit off. And you can kind of tell by some of the things she says.
Yeah, like is
And
Rusty in the Navy?
yes. And she brings her cat wrapped as a gift. And Uncle Lewis, well, we just do not see him without a cigar in his mouth. And he's a bit of a grumpy curmudgeon for sure.
Yes, he is. And
And
as
he's got the toupee, bless
the
his heart.
toupee, that was funny. Well, as they sit down to dinner, Aunt Bethany is asked to bless the meal, the blessing, as Uncle Lewis says, and she proceeds to deliver the Pledge of Allegiance. And of course, the entire family joins in, and Clark ends it with an amen. The meal is full of traditional favorites with a Griswold twist, like Catherine's overcooked and extremely dry turkey. And then here's our last trivia question. It's for Parker. Parker, Aunt Bethany brought her green Jello delight to the table. What was the special crunchy addition that she had for her special green Jello mold?
Oh, you caught me off guard here. Hold on. Hold on.
Parker, here's a hint. It was in the Jello mold. Like it was in the Jello.
I know it if Parker doesn't.
Okay, phone a friend, Gavin.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm completely
What
caught
is
off
it, Gavin?
guard.
What
It's
is
cat
it?
food.
It was cat food. It was her cat's food.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And don't forget during the dinner scene, of course, Uncle Eddie's family dog, Snots, under the table, just yakking on a bone. Could y'all imagine at our Thanksgiving dinner, one of the just having a dog under there yakking on a bone? After dinner, the chaos continues with Aunt Bethany's cat using all the 9 lives after gnawing on the Christmas tree lights cord and getting electrocuted, and Clark's prize Christmas tree being obliterated by Uncle Lewis's stogie.
Oh my
And
gosh.
just as Clark is about to lose it, a courier shows up, y'all, finally with Clark's long-awaited bonus. Like that, he's so excited. You can feel it for him. Everyone's there. And like, we already know this is going to be trouble. And I just, like, my heart hurts for him.
I know.
He opens it thinking he's getting his pool money, but
what does he get, sister?
he just gets a Jelly of the Month Club membership.
Wah, and wah wah. And what does what does cousin Eddie say about the gift? Anybody want to say his quote there about what he says about the Jelly of the Month Club?
That's a gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Keeps on giving all year.
That's exactly right. And it's about this time that Clark completely loses it. This is the rant you guys were talking about earlier. He is just furious. And so he says if anybody wants to know what to get him for Christmas, he wants to see his boss, Frank Shirley, tied up with a bow on his doorstep. And wouldn't you know it, cousin Eddie takes him literally and goes to kidnap Frank. as cousin Eddie leaves, things seem to be calming down a bit, right? Clark is decorating that newly chopped down Christmas tree, but that changes after Aunt Bethany hears something, a funny squeaking sound, and then squirrel, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is freaked out, running all over the house, trying to get away from the squirrel, who is ultimately chased from the house by Snots the dog, right on to Margot, who has marched over to tell Clark off. And that is the last time we hear from that pretentious couple.
And Missy, this is one of the many parts. We talked about this in the Money Pit, where there were some similar slapstick comedy things. When this squirrel comes out of the tree, it's so much like the
raccoon, yes,
that jumps on Shelley Long in the Money Pit. So similar. The squirrel's gone. Everyone's tired and winding down as Clark reads "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." While reading, he glances out his window and he doesn't see a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. He sees Uncle Eddie escorting his boss, Mr. Shirley, up the driveway with a bow tied around him.
And I just have to say here, when he walks in and he says, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas, Clark," and he looks at his boss and he's like, "You about ready to do some kissing?" Like, that's just perfect. And going back to his expression when, Clark is saying what he wants for Christmas, like the way that it just all adds up. I mean, just like we talked about earlier, just the facial expressions and lines in this movie are incredible.
So good.
Yeah, because you know what is funny you say about that, Gavin? Because this is a point where if they weren't really killing it and making this movie hilarious, by this point, you would be as a viewer, you would be so worn down. You would be like, this is not, this isn't funny anymore. But every scene just continues to be funnier and funnier because they do such a great job.
Definitely.
Well, of course, his boss is ticked off, but he soon realizes the gravity of his decision to cancel the Christmas bonuses without telling his employees. Suddenly, the SWAT team shows up, and they show up in a big way. It is pure chaos and destruction, swinging through, busting out the windows. And to me, that makes it all the more funny because it's so
they're rescuing the president of the United States or something.
It's so extreme. And after they've secured the house and they're ready to rescue the hostage, Mr. Shirley lets the officials know that he's not going to be pressing charges and why.
I have to say though, I love it when there's the main guy of the SWAT team, and he's like, "I tell you what, if I had one, I'd beat you with a rubber hose," because it's just he had to get his 2 cents in too.
Next,
which just proves that Clark was right the whole time. And
yes.
Eddie wasn't in the wrong either.
That's right.
He stuck up for what's right.
That's right. Well, Mr. Shirley shares that he's giving the same bonus as last year plus 20%. Everyone begins celebrating and partying, and they head outside to see if they can see Santa's sleigh. And Uncle Lewis lights his cigar, and it ignites the sewage gas, causing an explosion that sends everything flying.
Yes, people and Santa and his sleigh and all of those things. And Aunt Bethany breaks out at that moment because she thinks it's fireworks, and she begins singing the national anthem, and everyone joins in, ending the night in typical Griswold fashion. Clark finally gets his chaotic but memorable perfect Christmas, and he shares his thoughts in the final 3 words of the movie: "I did it." He's proud of what he had done. All right, guys. We always end the podcast with a discussion if the movie measures up in today's world. So I have a point that I want to share, and then anybody can share if you think, does it measure up to today's world? We are on a podcast today, sister, with 5 of our incredible young men in our lives. And this movie was 35 years ago, right? it would be like if you and I, when the movie came out, were doing something with our mom or our aunts from 1954. I know it's scary, right? I see your face. Yes, that's the difference. So if we were their age, it would be like we would have been talking about something from 1954. So I believe that this movie definitely measures up in today's world because we're still talking about it, and we're talking about it with young people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Morgan,
or go ahead, Morgan, your hand's up. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a movie that we come back to every single year. This is a movie that when I ask people their favorite Christmas movie, there is a right and a wrong answer to that because this is the correct answer. And this is such a family tradition for us. My wife had never really seen this movie before we got together, and like she does enjoy it. She watched part of it with me today when we went back through it, but I don't know that she'll ever enjoy it quite to the level that I want her to enjoy it to, because it is so near and dear to us. But truly, they do not make comedies like this anymore. This is
You're
no
right.
holds barred. Like this is not just a Christmas movie with some comedy in it. This is a comedy movie that is set at Christmas. It is so well done. This movie will stand the test of time. It still holds up and it will continue to hold up. This is a masterfully done comedy.
So good, Morgan. I have a quick question for you, Morgan. Will you make your kids leave the room and the scenes that I made you leave when you're a dad?
I don't know, because I look back and watch it now, and like they throw with PG-13 movies, you get one F-bomb. They throw one F-bomb in when Clark is having his rampage at the end of the movie, and the pool scene, they cut it off before, like just below her shoulders when they pull out. So honestly, I watch those scenes and I'm like, I am surprised at how long you all kept me from being able to see them.
I'm sorry.
But I'm sure those opinions change when you actually have children. So I don't think
right.
I can stay that.
That's
Well,
right.
the correct answer is that depends on what your wife says.
Yeah, Gavin. Good. Oh, look at that, Mo. You're getting wedding advice for your cousin who's not married yet. I love it. Thomas,
That
you
was
put
good.
your hand up.
I was just gonna say, absolutely. I think it holds up because how many like good Christmas movies can you think of that have come out within the last 20 odd years? The only one I can really think of is like Deck the Halls that we like consistently watch.
Oh yeah,
which,
I love that one too.
And that one takes a lot of influence from this movie, in my opinion, because it uses the Advent calendar to kind of switch between different scenes and stuff, and it even has a scene of him chopping down a Christmas tree with his family. So like you still see a lot of influence there.
Very good point. Very good, Thomas. Any of you other boys want to add anything?
I think it still holds up. I think it gets better every time I watch it. I notice new stuff that I've never seen, like on the like passes.
Yeah.
Like the stuff from his company that he's working on. Yeah, there's something in the paperwork on his desk where it talks about that spray that he uses on the seed you don't like, Mama.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's I notice these little things about it every time I watch. Like
new things. That's a good point.
Decorations and all kinds of stuff.
Very good.
There's little nods back to the other movies.
Yeah. All right, Gavin.
I think it definitely still holds up. I mean, shoot, I quote it all the time, even out of holiday season.
Out of holiday, yes.
Especially that part where Clark's like, nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together.
That's right.
Like, we're going to press on, and we're going to have the happy. I mean, I'll just insert event name here.
Yeah.
I think that part on its own, anytime throughout the year.
So good.
I think the most quotable line from this for me is always, "It's a bit nipply out here," from when Clark is at the mall. Like I think I said that in a lecture yesterday when it was freezing. I just walked in and said, "Man, it's nipply in here."
That's
We
great.
skipped over that when we talked about the department scene.
Yes, we
and I wanted
did.
to say something. That's
Yes,
the
we
best quote
did.
of it all.
That's a good one,
Parker,
too.
you want to share a last thought and we'll throw it to Amanda and see what she thinks?
Well, going back to the question, I mean, it obviously stands the test of time. Like Michael said, I mean, you always catch something new while rewatching it, even though we've probably seen it over 100 times now. Because, I mean, of course, it's a tradition to watch it Thanksgiving night, right after Thanksgiving, but also we watch it 3 or 4 more times throughout the year. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a tradition for everybody. Everybody can relate. It's a great movie, and they, like Morgan said, they don't make comedies like this anymore. I mean, or maybe that was Thomas that said it, but either way, I love it. I'll always watch it. It's my favorite movie, and it'll stand the test of time for another 100 years. I can guarantee you that I'll watch it with my kids and create a tradition with that. So,
Oh, I love that. All right, Amanda.
Of course, it stands the test of time. There are really just a very few handful of movies, especially that are Christmas themed, that stand up like this. It's interesting, Missy, that you said that about 1954. I know this doesn't match up necessarily with years, but like I was thinking if we had done this with our mom, like It's a Wonderful Life is one of those that stands up, not anywhere in the same type of, I mean, it's obviously not a comedy, but that's one that stands up. Obviously, this stands up. So I do think it stands up. It is always hysterical. And even though it was in the 80s, that makes it even funnier to me.
So if you've never seen the movie or watching Christmas Vacation isn't a family tradition, or maybe it's just been a while, we definitely recommend giving it a watch and making it a tradition for your family. It's the kind of movie that brings out the laughs and the holiday spirit, and a movie that brings families together. And who doesn't need a little bit of all of that? All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this holiday adventure with the Griswolds.
And before we go, let's leave you with a few clues for next week's movie. Missy, will you give us clue number 1?
Clue number 1, our next film features some unexpected gifts that may bring way more than holiday cheer.
Okay. Clue number 2, it's set in a small town that finds itself dealing with a whole lot of holiday mischief.
And clue number 3, things in this movie might look cute at first, even adorable, but let's just say appearances can be deceiving.
Sister, those are tough clues. So I want to give a bonus clue real quick.
Okay, give a bonus clue. It's Christmas.
Yeah, the bonus clue is this movie really drives home the point that you have to follow the rules when you're given rules.
Yes.
You got to follow the rules.
Yes.
I think you know which movie we're talking about. Well, be sure to tune in next week to find out.
And as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our precious young men in our life, my 2 sons and our nephews. And if you're enjoying our podcast, please share, subscribe, and leave us a review. It helps us to reach more movie lovers.
Yes, and don't forget, y'all, 5-star reviews get a Real Sisters Rewind sticker. Just take a screenshot of your review and email it to hello@realsistersrewind.com.
All right, until next time, y'all keep your holiday spirits high. And when you feel the stress of the holidays, just remind yourself it's not as crazy as the Griswolds.
Thank you, guys. Love y'all.